Hi Gemini, I hope that you're all doing well. We're here with a timeless reading. The first card that we have out is the Empress. The second card that we have out is Judgment. This is going to be about refining. Immediately, when it comes to the Empress and Judgment, this is Venus and this is Pluto. Pluto is going to be investigating right now, and having Venus be there, this feels like skill sets that you can be refining, things that you can be getting better at, things that you can even realize are talents that you weren't aware of before, or gifts that you have, or abilities that you have. It can also be about gifts and abilities that are evolving, skills that are evolving. Your Venus is going to indicate sort of what arena that is for you. So depending on your Venus, that can give you more insight about what this is for you specifically, because different Venuses have different energies just naturally where there are inclinations for certain things. And having Pluto there can be looking at that, like, what do I have to offer? Is there stuff that I can be refining, stuff that I can be honing in on, skills that I have where I feel like maybe this is a raw skill of mine and I want it to evolve, I want it to get better. So there can be just a refining practice. That's immediately what I'm seeing with this. What you have to offer, what you want to have to offer, and this can even be steps to get better at something, or steps to cultivate a power in a more potent way. A power meaning like just something that you have to offer. All right. Having Five of Pentacles here, there may be something here that you want to do and you can feel even like the environment isn't really allowing that to happen, isn't really supporting that. So maybe it can be a part of you where maybe there's something within yourself that you want to explore here, but you can feel almost like there's no avenue externally that you can take to do this, or like you're not seeing anything right now. Just let me say an example so you understand what I'm saying. Let's say that you feel like you'd be really great at playing the violin, but you're not able to pay for a violin and you really want to practice it, or maybe even you have a violin but there's no teacher around so you can sort of learn what you need to learn. It can be that type of thing where there's this thing that I'm interested in, and there's even this thing that I feel like I'd be good at, or that I can do, or I already believe that I have some type of promise within that, and I feel like this skill or this thing, it wants to evolve now. Like, I want to practice it now, I want to walk that path now, I want to explore that now. So this feels like a calling that you are feeling now. Having Five of Pentacles can be, but I feel like my environment is not supportive of me doing that currently. So there can be this, because I'm not seeing an obvious way to hone in on this, I'm feeling very discouraged now. About making progress, about where things would even go. You can feel kind of alone within this too. Like, maybe whatever this is that you want to be doing, you feel like there's nobody really around you, or like a way that you can connect. There's not a way that you can connect to the path in the way that you would want to. Nothing feels obvious. And because of this, with this Five of Pentacles, feeling like I have this desire, or I have this calling within me, because this feels like something really, really deep, that there is an urge to explore this. Then having Five of Pentacles is physically the environment around you, and feeling like you're very limited in the circumstances that you're in, limited from exploring this or doing this in the way that you'd want to. And then having Nine of Swords be connected with that Five of Pentacles, it's kind of just this a fear of maybe even what it would take for you to explore this, and maybe even how an environment could potentially change, but maybe in a way other than how you would want this to fall into place, possibly. Something about breaking routine, pattern, habits, because there can be this very strong idea of where things were supposed to go, but now this thing is happening and you feel like it's a bit of a redirection. I feel like what this is reflecting back to you is where you have this very solid, concrete idea of how stuff is supposed to play out, and things will still play out, but not exactly like that. And the part of you that's like, it has to be like this in order to work, is being challenged right now. That's what's being reflected back to you. Because it's not saying that you're off with this feeling of something here I'm supposed to be focusing on, something here I'm supposed to be refining, something here I'm supposed to be exploring within myself. But this idea of this is the only path, this is the only way, things have to play out exactly like that in order for me to make progress, and then things have to look like that, and then I'm going to get to this point then. And then the realizing that the situation is not matching with this model of expectation that you have, that's what's being reflected back to you. It's not that this can't work. It's not that this isn't going to work. It's more so where you are not allowing room for co-creation. Because this thing that you are feeling within you, it's not going to go away. It's like a seed that's ready to crack out of that hard shell that it's within, and so you can't really tuck it back in anymore. You're feeling this and it's palpable, and you're not misdirected within that feeling. But as far as your expectation of how this all plays out, you are being redirected. It can feel very abrupt the way that this unfolds. Having Page of Cups and then having the Tower, Page of Cups is this feeling that bubbles to the surface, and then the Tower can feel almost like things are going wayward because of that. I'm picking up on this, I'm tuning into this, I'm feeling this, and then it can feel like one is driven to take action and one is driven even to explore, and that things actually begin to come together, but it can be in a way that's other than what's been routinely explored before. Okay, let's talk about who we are seeing. Venus, Pluto, Mars, Uranus, and I'm also seeing Taurus, Aquarius, and Gemini. Okay, let's talk about this too. When you have Page of Cups and you have the Tower, this can mean that feelings surface like very unexpectedly of, I didn't know that that was down there. I didn't know that was going to emerge within me, and that feeling of something has arrived, something is here. I'm also seeing the Lovers and the Fool, which means that this can be a feeling that that there is a relationship that you want to explore, and that you're actually moving very quickly in a direction of that is where you're supposed to be going, but there can be anxiety there's a bug in here. There can be anxiety about that, but because not because you're not going the right way, but because your idea of how things were going to unfold, it feels like that varies, and it feels like that also is different than what's actually happening right now. And so you're like getting your signals crossed here, where there can be this feeling of, is this how things are supposed to be? But it actually is supposed to be like this. But that part of you that's like, I planned it out, it was supposed to go like this and that, and then things not happening in that way, you're thrown off by that. But it's like your own creation that you're thrown off by here, your own expectation that you're thrown off by here. So it's not that anything is going wrong, it's not that anything is happening in a way that it's not supposed to. This is about allowing yourself to sort of break out of the limitations that you've put yourself within. So you're stepping into a more limitless energy here as things are coming together and really going the way that you want to, what feels right. This can also be like somewhere you weren't expecting this to happen, and this thing surfaces within you and you're like, I have to do something about this, I have to take action. And so you want to move in the direction of this thing that calls to you in a very magnetic way, and that is the way to go. But this part of you that was like, I was going to be here for 3 years and then there for 5 more years, and that's the part of you that's like having a hard time with this. But I think that this is about like allowing that to dissolve and realizing that will just limit you. Because having this Page of Cups and having this Tower feels like I'm feeling moved right now, and you can move that way. Then you can listen to that, and you may not know how it's going to work, but it really is going to work out for you. The only reason that you're questioning this again is because you thought it was going to go like this and that. And now it's time for this thing to be happening, and you weren't planning for this, you weren't expecting this, but this is the way. And ultimately you get to make the choice. Are you going to fight against the way here? And are you going to try to fulfill how you thought that it should go, even though that's not your true path anymore? Or are you going to listen to this and tune into this and move in that way? Because I almost get you feeling very dazzled. It feels like something is emerging within you, and I'm almost seeing this like wow of this thing that's budding within you. I get this feeling of amazement of there's something here that you're connecting with, and then feeling like you need to do, there's something that has to be done. There is something to do, but it can also sort of flip your world upside down simultaneously. Like you are feeling called, you are feeling that. So this thing emerges, and it's like a vision before your eyes, and you're seeing this vision unfold, and it's sort of telling you what to do now and what steps to take. But you also have to put yourself out there in order to do it, but you can feel like this is the only true path. This is the way to go. And that you really, the only thing that's getting in the way of this is you just questioning things. Fear, self-limitation, and also these expectations that you have of things unfolding a certain way, where your truth is telling you that that's not how it's going to go. It's going to go like this, how it's happening right now. I do get this thing that's bubbling to the surface. There's no way to push it down or get rid of it. It feels like it touches you in a way that you can't ignore it, and that I don't even think that you want to push it down. This feels more so like, what do I do with this then? And you know what to do, but the part of you that already thought you knew what was going to happen is conflicting with what's going on, and that's where this tension is coming from. And that there needs to be a little bit of a loosening your grip here with this to allow things to unfold, because that's how things will go in a direction where you don't feel like you're swimming upstream. Because this is one of those times where your path speaks to you more loudly and more clearly than it does on your average day. and that is the sign for you. And you don't have to know exactly how that's going to be or how that's going to work out. But the part of you that may want to sort of plan everything out and be pretty rigid with this can be struggling to go off of that. And that's why it can feel like there's such a big chaotic shaking that's happening currently that you're feeling. And you get to choose now if you walk this path that you said, my ego's laying this out for me, even though it's out of touch now at this point, or you can really groove to what it is that you're feeling and walk that way now that this has come up. Because I feel like there are so many signs and whatnot that you're receiving, like there's this active communication now, and that as much as it can feel surprising or unexpected to you, and maybe even flip your world upside down, simultaneously this is your heart speaking to you, and you have the ability, you get a choice now of whether or not you want to answer that call and go that way, and that will be the path that feels like it honors you and that feeling of purpose, of having a place within all of this. I think your faith is being tested here. That being a part of it, like how could this possibly work out, and you're being told to trust and to have faith here, but then fighting with that part of you that feels like it's hard to budge sometimes when you get these certain ideas in your head versus what's really the truth for you here. Coming from a place of, I want to have control even if it's fighting against the true way of things, versus allowing yourself to honor your truth now in this moment. And that is what you're feeling when you tune in. There can also be a deep concern about what will happen to the things that you care about, the things that you hold dear to you within your life, and simultaneously this feels like you get to choose. Are you going to make a decision where you're running away from something so you can avoid it even though it is your truth right now, or are you going to go along with this because you know that that's what you're feeling and that is the way to go here, and now you have the choice. This leaves you with that choice. And you can find that things do come together actually at the end of the day. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.